Welcome to Teach Me AI, the show where my friends teach me how to use their favorite AI tools and strategies, and you get to learn along with me. I'm your host, Nick Niehaus, and on today's episode, I'm talking to Brittni Schroeder, who's an entrepreneur who specializes in helping small businesses. And in this case, we're going to be talking all about email. If you've been looking for a way to more consistently generate business or develop your brand, email marketing might be just the trick. And we're going to talk to you all about how you can automate as much of that process as possible using AI. Stick around, you won't want to miss this one.
You're watching Teach Me AI with host Nick Niehaus.
Hi, Brittni. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Nick. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to our conversation. So, let's get into it. What are you going to teach me today?
All right. So before we hit record, we're talking all things AI, and AI is something that if you are not using it as a small business, you will be left behind because it's a game changer. I kind of joke that it's going to take over the world, but as a business owner, it's kind of nice. So, take it for what it is, but it's definitely been a game changer for me as far as, the workload. I'm a big time management is so important. And I always say minutes add up to hours. And so if you can outsource or you can use a tool that's going to help you have more time in the day, then AI is definitely that tool that really helps you and is a catalyst to getting a lot of things done in a short amount of time. So yeah,
Love
AI.
that.
Yeah. So my big thing is email, growing your email list. And we kind of talked about that. That's something that small businesses don't focus a lot on. And
Right.
I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are pretty new in the entrepreneur world. They have a great idea, they're making money, but they don't really know how to scale. And it's putting these systems and automations in their business that really help. And I think as a default, people, especially new business owners, they tend to just go to social media. That's their priority.
Right.
And I think it's because everybody's on there. There's that instant gratification. There's that, all the things, but it doesn't have the conversion rates that it used to have. And I often share this story, a little background about me is I was a photographer for 10 years. I owned a photography magazine. I've been in nonprofit work. So I've done a lot. And now I do business and marketing coaching for entrepreneurs. But when I had my magazine, and this kind of ages me a little bit, but when we first started, I had a business partner and we were promoting our magazine, our photography magazine on social media. And at the time, Facebook was the bigger out of Instagram. It was, more people were on Facebook. And I'm an analytics girl, I'm a numbers girl, and we released a couple of issues of our magazine, and we're so excited. We're like, we're going to make a lot of money, and I'm doing the math in my head, and I'm saying, okay, if we have a certain percentage of growth, then we're going to sell this many more magazines. We're going to do so good. We're going to do so good. So we had the two platforms. We had Facebook and Instagram, but Facebook was probably our bread and butter, our main one. And it was right around the time we had released just a handful of issues that Facebook switched. And it was like all the business pages that everybody was seeing, all of a sudden, nobody was seeing them.
Yeah.
And, it was a good life lesson at you cannot put all your eggs in one carton. And we see this time and time again. I have lots of clients who have really good size social media followings, but no email list. And I always say, how many times are we going to see Meta go down before people realize I have to make my email list a priority. Again, I'm a numbers girl. And if you look at the percentages, the average open rate of an email is between 30 to 40%. And it changes, obviously, if you have a really clean list or your industry. The average reach rate of your social media posts is 3%. It's really low right now.
Yeah.
So just with that, let's take a number. Say you have 10,000 people who are looking on following you on your social media. 3%, that's a very small reach. You do 3% of 1,000, and it's a way 30%. That's a way bigger view rate and conversion rate. And so it's good to have both. But if you're going to focus or you're going to invest, whether you're investing time or money, invest in growing your email list. So that's kind of my soapbox that I'm always telling people, because I think people's default is social media because it's easy and everybody knows how to do it. But it's really your email list should be your number one priority in as far as growth goes. So it's really important.
No, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of people, it's also an owned audience, right? It's one of the few audiences where it's like, hey, if you have that contact information, like nobody can take that list from you. I mean, there are things that can happen. You can get blocked from certain inboxes if you screw around and spam people too much and things like that. But I mean, I focus a lot on social media. It's certainly a powerful tool, but I can't tell you how many of my friends who've had hundreds of thousands, millions of followers, and like they have no idea why, and their accounts just get banned overnight, and it's like your business is gone, right? I mean, unless you have an email list. So the stability too. I mean, just the fact that it gives you something of value. If you sell the business and it has a big email list, it's probably worth a lot more money than if it doesn't, all kinds of stuff. So I love that focus. So let's get into it. So we're going to use AI to grow our list. How do we do that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a number of different things that you can do. I'll just kind of go through some of the things that I'm thinking that are on top of my head.
Sure.
And the interesting thing is, and I'm a pretty techie person, and one of the things I teach in my clients and in my business is automations. There are a lot of programs that people are already using that have these AI tools already integrated in them. And maybe they have been using them, or maybe they just aren't familiar that they have them. And I always think of, when I was a photographer and people would, ask me about like learning how to do photography. And I said, you have to learn your tool, like learn how to use your camera. Right. And this is applicable with your programs. We have a lot of programs that we're probably already using in our business, but people are just scratching the surface. They don't really understand all the tools that they have if they just take the time to learn, what's available. So I'm a big advocate. Not a big advocate. I'm a big lover. I say I'm the unofficial spokesperson of Flowdesk is my email marketing that I use, but there's a lot of great ones. There's ConvertKit, there's MailChimp, ActiveCampaign. There's a lot. I love Flowdesk. That's the one that I use. But one of the things, and all of these email programs have the same thing, is using an intuitive pop-up on your website. That's a really good one that you can do, is using that pop-up. So you can have tools. If you look in and you create a pop-up and you put it on your website, there's tools that say, show this pop-up to only new users, or show this pop-up once they've scrolled 30%, or show this pop-up for certain things. And so using a pop-up is a really good one. Obviously you have to have traffic. You have to drive traffic to your website, but that is a really good one to use, is using the pop-up. That's the first one that I always say that, we have this tool, play around with it, and, you can make it intuitive to your audience. So that's the first one. Another really great tool that I use in my business is ManyChats, and that's a social media one where you can, it's triggered by a keyword. So you can get the ManyChats for free, but I think you are limited. It's like all the programs out there, like you can get the free version, but if you want all the features, you have to pay for it. But ManyChats, and we see this a lot with influencers, where it's like comment links and I'll send you the link to this shirt or whatever. So that's what we're seeing. But you can use this in your business. So for example, right now, I can post stories and reels and post, and I can say, comment the word email, and I'll send you information to a free training that I'm doing. But you can do that for your lead magnets too. So I have several different lead magnets that I use in my business, and I have some automations in ManyChats that are set up that people will comment on those posts, and then those lead magnets will get sent to them. The kind of caveat with social media is your content gets buried. And so it doesn't have the lifespan that, like a blog will have, or YouTube, because there's no search engine in social media. But still, people can scroll your content and look for different things. And so what ManyChats, I kind of like about ManyChats is, sometimes people do get on my feed and they scroll and they look at older posts and they comment, and I don't have to worry about responding back to them because I have this automation set up. With ManyChats, you can set up kind of like chat bots in ManyChats where, there's a trigger set up for a certain behavior that they do. So you can ask them a question that says, do you understand funnels? And if they say yes, it can take them to one, a different prompt, or no, it will take them to another prompt. So you can set up those kind of like chat bots that are, that kind of go along with certain behaviors that your
like choose your own adventure kind of conversation style.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty complex. I personally don't do a lot of the chat bots on ManyChats. Mine are pretty basic, just comment this word and then I'll send them a link to one of my lead magnets. So that's a really good one. And a lot of people are using ManyChats right now. It's, it's AI powered and it's got a lot of really great features. You can do a lot with that. So cool. That's kind of the one that I use too quite frequently. The next one that I use for AI with my email list is ChatGPT. And I think that's the big one. Wouldn't you say, Nick? That's the big one? I kind of feel like that's the one people use the most. I don't know.
That's
for me,
pretty common. Yeah, that one comes up a lot for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that is a pretty common one. But I use ChatGPT to repurpose my content. And so somebody gave me the advice once is blog. Do write 50 blogs. Right. And I started blogging, and now I have hundreds of blog posts. But that's kind of where when people are like, where do I start with content creation, or where do I start? I always say start with a blog, because you can take that one piece of content and you can repurpose it and use it into a bunch of different content. So kind of my workflow is I might write a blog, and then I will take that blog post and I will put it in ChatGPT. And I can say, turn this into an email. And, I'll say 200-word email. And you can even teach it your personality. You can give it, you can train ChatGPT to use your voice. So I like humor is part of like my brand, and just different language. You might talk a certain way, but you can train ChatGPT to speak it in your voice. So I can take that blog post and say, hey, turn this into a newsletter using 200 words and use humor. And they can take that. And you can even say add a call to action. So that is a really good tool, a good AI tool that's good. I'm not a super strong writer. I feel like, I guess that's my thought, but I feel like it's not like really my strength. And so, but I do like to write, and I do like to give people information. And so it's a good tool. I always say it's not a replacement for you. It's a tool to help you. So even though I use it, a lot of times I will still go back and change. It's a little bit ChatGPT-ish, you can tell. And so I think it's important to stay true to your brand voice and not just use it, because people can see like, oh, that sounds like ChatGPT. And it's funny because I feel like ChatGPT a lot of times has the same like intro, or it'll use a lot of the same things over and over. So just be mindful of that, because people catch on to that. So, but then I can take that. A big part of growing your email list and your open rate with email list is, a big part of conversion is your open rate. You want people to open up your emails. And so another way you can use ChatGPT is you can say, after you've written that newsletter, you can say, give me 10 subject lines for this newsletter. And that is your open rate, right? It's very, very, very heavily dependent on your subject line. You want it to be captivating. You want people to click to open it. So you want to have a really strong subject line. So I think people just kind of throw something in there, but put some effort into there. And you can look at your analytics in your email marketing, and you can see what subject lines are working, what resonates with your audience. But take those subject lines and take it to ChatGPT and come up with some different ideas. A really big thing with like business and success is the copy, and are you speaking to your audience? So ChatGPT is a great tool that you can use to do maybe some like A/B testing. So say you have a lead magnet and you know that it's good, but it's just not converting. It might be the lead magnet, but it might just be your copy. Maybe you're just not speaking to your audience, and use ChatGPT to come up with some different, rewrite it. Maybe it's just your copy. I had a client who, she was a life coach, and she was life coaching. She was like an empty nest life coacher for people who had their kids were all out of the house. But she had a lead magnet, and the lead magnet, we were kind of playing around with, the subject and the copy. And the lead magnet stayed the same, but we said, let's play around with how to accept your adult children was one, and how to accept your adult children who have left your faith. Those were the two. And we kind of played around with the A/B. And the one that left the faith was more specific. And we played around with the copy. And it was that one that converted better. Exact same. The lead magnet was exactly the same, but it was kind of playing around with the copy and coming up with other options that took her lead magnet from good to great. And so taking, using ChatGPT to sometimes give you like other ideas. Sometimes we are stuck in a rut and we can't see what we can't see, but using this tool to give you some more ideas is really helpful. So that's another way.
Cool. Let me ask, because you mentioned lead magnets. There's obviously kind of an idea there. So for somebody that wants to grow their email list, like let's talk about the lead magnets for just a second. Is that something that I should use ChatGPT to create? Or, you kind of, obviously the more specific it gets, it sounds like the better it's going to be. So yeah, is there sort of a process you'd recommend when it comes to developing a lead magnet?
Yeah. A lot of times, your lead magnet, you want it to be, it's solving a problem for somebody. So you think of a problem that somebody has. I've used it before where, okay, here's the problem. Give me some ideas. So you can say, hey, I want to create a lead magnet that helps people with their Instagram strategy or something like that. Give me 10 ideas. So you can use that for ideation. But then you can also use it as if you're going to do a guide or a form or something like that, you can put in there, I like the outline, give me an outline of what I should create. So ChatGPT is great for ideation. Again, use your own voice, use your own brand to really customize it. But you definitely can use ChatGPT to help you, guide you. I'm doing a presentation for a business at the end of the week, and I'm speaking on a topic for mindset. And it's a mindset thing that I've taught several times. But I was like, I need something fresh. I put it into ChatGPT and said, give me an outline for a 30-minute presentation on this topic. And what I loved about it is it brought up some new topics or subtopics that I haven't previously talked about. So I think it's just a really good tool to help you give you more ideas and to inspire you in different ways. So yeah, you can use it. I know I did watch your class, Nick, and Nick did one on ChatGPT, a lead magnet. So I know that this is my scope. He's more advanced with the coding and stuff, but I know that there are so many options, so many things that you can do. You can also use AI in Canva. Canva has tools where you can go in and say, create a template or create images. You can use AI. Canva has a tool. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but where you go in and you can say, create an image with, I can say a desktop, use, neutral tones or whatever, and it will create images. It isn't perfect. And sometimes you look at it and you're like, okay, that looks kind of funky. It's squiggly or whatever.
Right.
It's not perfect, but it's a good starting point. And, I think all these AI systems are continually developing. So yeah, for sure you can use it for, different lead magnets. And, again, I use it a lot for ideation. It's a starting point for me, but I'm sure that there's so many tools. There's probably a million tools that I'm not even aware of yet too. So.
Well, yeah, and the one thing I've seen pointed out is that ChatGPT is it's intentionally a chat bot, right? So it's designed to have conversations with you, and it can do a lot of things. But I think a lot of folks, they skip the conversation part, right? So they go in and they're like, "Hey, make me a lead magnet," and it's like, okay, well, who are you? What's your business story? What's your background? What do you do? What's your specialties? And I think it sounds like the more conversational you approach it, and the more you let it kind of coach you through a process, the better the outcome is going to be. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess, okay, so let's say, I obviously talked about lead magnets, kind of some places you can get somebody onto your email list. You and I both understand why having a big email list or maybe even not a big one, but a well-built email list with people that care about what you have to offer is so useful. Yeah. But for a business that isn't doing this yet, they're on social, they're getting their sales here and there, they think they've got things kind of worked out. What should they expect from having an email list? So let's say they start this process and they start to be able to send emails on a regular basis. why is that so powerful? What have you seen happen as businesses implement that?
Well, I mean, a couple things. You can segment your audiences. So you can, you can create, so for example, maybe I do a training on Instagram and I have people sign up through my email. And now I know that those people who have signed up for that they want to learn more about Instagram. So then I say that I offer I build a course or I have a training on Instagram. I can target those people specifically. So you can segment your audience. Cool. Sometimes we have different avatars, in our audience. So I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, and I work with people who are at the beginning stages, the middle stages, and then people who really want to scale. I'm going to talk to the people at the beginning different than I talk to the people who want to scale. I have to talk differently. So you can segment them, you can talk to them about their specific needs and sell to them with their specific needs. If I'm selling a product that I know people are really interested in, I'm going to sell to them harder. I'm going to send more emails to them. I'm going to give them more information than just like my main list. So when you can speak to them in different like levels and different tones and use different words. So that's big. Again, it's your reach. It's being able to get to your people. And if you look at the numbers, you just have a way higher conversion. And think about it, people's behaviors. Like I'm just talking the open rate is 30%. I'm not, and that's at the lower end. But that's not even including people who see your name. And that's what marketing is. Marketing is becoming memorable. So when people want to build a funnel or people want automations and systems, I don't want them thinking, now who's that one coach that does that? I want them to see that I'm in their inbox every week. I'm showing up, they're seeing my name, they're remembering who I am. And you kind of have a bunch of things. You have social media, but your email is going to be your most powerful tool. I mean, think about like our emails. We're getting emails from schools if you have kids, and you're getting your bills and all these different things. We get an email. We more often than not, people are looking at their emails. I might not look at social media every day. And even if I look at it every day, that's not guaranteed I'm going to see your stuff because of the algorithm. But your email, you have more of a chance of people seeing your name. So I
love that. I mean, that's so easily overlooked, right? I mean, it's even if someone doesn't read your email, but they see your name every single day, your top of mind awareness is so much stronger in that case. And we may not like it, but we all check our emails, 50 to 100 times a day, depending on what you do for a living, right?
Yeah. Well, and also with email marketing, you can personalize it. So say that I have a lead magnet and say I'm a wedding photographer, and I have a lead magnet that's like 10 like great Instagram places for couples or something cheesy like that, right? And then I can ask them on the form when they give me their email to get that. I can say, when is your wedding date? They can put in that wedding date. Then I can customize a funnel off of that wedding date. There's all these personalizations in your email marketing if you understand how to do them. And so then you can also put their first name so you can talk to them. That's another thing, like your open rates. If you have an email that says, hey, I have something for you, okay, you might not open that. But if it says, hey, Nick, I have something for you, you're going to, it's more personalized and people are more likely to open it. And these are a few different AI features that a lot of these email marketing softwares have. So that's another feature that you can use with AI. So
very cool. Yeah. So it sounds like, you can use AI to develop the lead magnet to get people in the door in the first place. You can have it work on your email copy, your email subject lines. I mean, there's all kinds of aspects. So, I mean, imagine for somebody that's a little overwhelmed by the idea of the amount of work that goes into email, I mean, how much are we saving on that front? Like, do you think AI is saving us half the time it used to take to do email marketing, more or less? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm spending half the amount of time. I have a strategy with my email, so it's I send an email every week. And, one's going to be like maybe a resource, maybe one's selling, maybe one's my podcast. So I kind of have these different strategies, but I can take that content and put it in there. Like I said, I'm not a super strong writer, so I can sit and look at a blank screen for like 20, 30 minutes before I can think of something to write. But if I have this tool where I'm like, hey, just repurpose this content, I've already, and that's the thing as entrepreneurs, if you have really good systems and you're organized, you get to the point where you are creating new content, but it's a lot of repurposing some of your old content, especially if it's still relevant. And we can repurpose that. So you're not reinventing the wheel every single time you have to create content. You're taking one piece of content and you're repurposing it and getting it out there. So again, you have to drive traffic, and there's lots of ways to drive traffic, blogging, podcasting. There's lots of different things you can do. You have to drive traffic. You have to get people to your website to get your lead magnets or put them out there. But, there's lots of tools that you can use. Again, you can use ChatGPT to help you blog and to help you, rank on SEO. There's lots of different tools that you can use these for.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, there's really no excuse at this point to not be doing this.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things is don't let it be overwhelming to you, because I think I often think that is one thing that entrepreneurs get overwhelmed with is technology. Like, it feels so heavy and so overwhelming. Right. And it really isn't, but that's a mindset, is just take the time to learn a little bit at a time. There's lots of free resources out there, but, take the time to learn.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think we're realistically, I don't know what tech comes after AI, but I think AI is going to be sort of powering and underlying everything in the world here in the next few years, if it isn't already. And, this is one of those skill sets that, once you learn to do it, the possibilities are endless, right? There's so many different places you can use that new skill set in your business. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, let me ask you this. So you mentioned weekly emails. So I was going to ask you about frequency, right? So like, if I'm going to start an email list, like, is there a minimum? Is there a maximum? What do you typically advise there?
I think it depends on what you have on your plate, but to me, it's like consistently. So think of what can you commit to, and maybe that's only one time a month. Maybe that's twice a month, whatever it is, but pick a date, pick a time, and just be consistent and add on. Mine go out every week, every Tuesday is mine. And I batch them. So I will try to write a month's worth all at once, and then they're scheduled, and then I don't have to worry about them. So, but whatever you decide, it's consistency. Consistency is the key to success.
Right. That's true on social posting, emails, everything, right? You gotta keep showing up,
Yep, for sure.
Very cool. Well, so let me ask you this. Obviously, a lot of people watching this or listening are probably curious how they can sort of learn more of these processes and systems from you. What's the best way for somebody to follow you or get in touch with you if they want more info?
Yeah, my main platform is Instagram, and it's just Brittni.Schroeder. So I'm on Instagram. You can find me there. I'm, there. Then my website is BrittniSchroeder.com. I have a podcast, Redefine Your Business. So I'm on every platform, but I'm actively on Instagram. So, but you can find me. Yeah, you can find me there for sure.
So we can go find one of your posts and comment with the keyword and get one of your lead magnets.
Yeah, for sure.
Go from there,
Get in my funnel. So
yeah. Love it. Okay. Well, and Brittni, as we're kind of wrapping up here, who is typically like an ideal customer for you? I know you say you work with a lot of small businesses. Is there a certain kind of business you like to work with?
Yeah, I can work with anybody. I work with a lot of online like coaches and any online businesses that are, everybody's online at this point, right? So it's really like I work with real estate agents, small business owners, coaches. I'm kind of just all over the place. So yeah, that's me.
Cool. Love it. All right. Well, Brittni, this has been fascinating. So thank you so much for joining me today. Any last thoughts or ideas you wanted to share before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. So just learn AI. That's my last thought. Learn AI.
That's the key. That's the whole point of this show, right? You gotta dig in at some point and start learning how these tools work, because obviously they're saving everybody who's using them a ton of time, which I think that is, everybody's looking how to make more money with AI, but I think the amount of time we're saving is maybe an even bigger benefit.
Yeah, it's huge.
Absolutely. Sure. Cool. Well, Brittni, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. So those of you watching, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is another episode of Teach Me AI. I'm your host, Nick Niehaus, and we hope to see you again on an upcoming episode. We'll talk to you then.
You're watching Teach Me AI with host Nick Niehaus.